Hey, everybody. It's me, Sunshine Day, your spiritual living coach, with another episode of A Spiritual Remedy. I see a world where clean and sober people, where people in recovery are living their best life and loving it. So I have the opportunity of providing spiritual tools and loving support for your personal transformation. Good morning, Michelle. So glad that you're with us today. You know, one of the things that I've noticed about my show is that it takes a minute for people to get on. So thank you for hopping on early, Michelle, and being here with me. Uh, the other thing is that I will talk about good morning, Mahogany. Love you so much. The other thing that I'm noticing is that people want to have an experience when they're here with me on the show on Monday mornings. And what I want to be able to do, thank you. You have a blessed week as well. This is it's indeed a blessing to be alive, to be awake, to be alert. Farrell, love you. Good morning, and beautiful, beautiful flowers for you too. And I was thinking about being able to provide like a short meditation, a short practice. And this was something that was suggested that we just kind of begin with like this short something, so that we have some substance. And so I'd like to do that right now. If you're driving, do not close your eyes. If you are in a place where you can just take a couple of minutes and just breathe with me. So let's just do this. You can do this with your eyes open and take in the whole experience, or you can do this with your eyes closed or slightly closed. But especially on a Monday morning, right? Just take a nice deep breath in. You might even feel a yawn coming. And just release that. Just release it and allow yourself to be present. Now, there might be some noises and sounds and activities around you wherever you are. And that's okay, because if you can hear them, if you can see them, all that activity around you simply means that you're alive. But what you're doing is you're bringing the focus from out there in here, in here. So breathe again, inhale, and exhale. And feel the effects produced by that breath. That breath is actually not only filling your lungs, but it's bringing oxygen to every capillary. Those blood cells are now going throughout, circulating throughout your body, bringing oxygen to your brain. And breathe in one more time, nice and deep. And don't be afraid of what you look like. Who cares? This is your time where you're taking care of you. And on this day where you get to be awake, alert, and alive, just bring your attention to your breath again, to your inhale and the exhale. Notice how you do not have to do anything. You don't have to remind yourself to breathe. Your body is simply breathing for you. That's the infinite intelligence that is right within you. That's that higher power that is right where you are. That's life expressing in, through, and as you. And just move into a place of gratitude. Grateful. I'm grateful. Let's even just do a cascade of gratitude. And if you want to type into the chat something you're grateful for, go ahead and do that now. But, what I want to say is I appreciate my bed and the sheets on my bed. And I'm grateful for my pillow. I'm grateful for my beloved that I get to wake up next to. I'm grateful that my bed is actually indoors and that I have shelter. I'm grateful for technology, which connects us, the electricity in my home. I'm grateful for a refrigerator, for food in my refrigerator. I'm grateful for running water, clean water that I get to drink. I'm grateful for coffee. I'm grateful for the clothes in my closet that I get to put on. I'm grateful for the washing machine that washes my sheets and my clothing and everything that I wear. I'm grateful that I have a car that I can get to places, and grateful for public transportation. I'm grateful that my ears are working, that my nose works, that my eyes work, that my lungs are working. I'm grateful for every organ, action, and function in my body. I'm grateful for the way that my brain can put together sentences and words and comprehend. I'm grateful for the hair on top of my head and all over my body. I'm grateful that my feet work, my legs work, my hips work. I'm grateful for all of these things, grateful for my neighbors, my family, my friends. I'm grateful that I have today to pick and choose what I shall engage in and what I won't engage in. I'm grateful for love in my life and peace in my life. Oh, I'm grateful. I'm grateful for this way of connecting. Grateful for Michelle, grateful for Mahogany, grateful for Farrell and Cinzia, and grateful for Bertha, grateful for Nancy, grateful for Sunny Day, grateful for Barry Hollins, grateful, 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 grateful. I'm grateful for all the people in my life. And now gently begin to breathe in again, a nice deep breath. And anything else that you're grateful for, parents, loved ones, families, relatives, being able to have breakfast. And gently open your eyes and look around you and just be grateful for the things around you, the camera, the computer, the lights. You know, it's easy to fall into anger and resentment when things don't go our way. And a simple practice like breathing and a simple practice like this gratitude list, this verbal gratitude list, this cascade. Thank you, Michelle. Thank you, Michelle. You know, it's easy to forget, right? It's easy to forget. And when we're dealing with life on life's terms, it's easy to get angry and resentful when we're driving, when people don't do what we want them to do or say, or thank you, Bertha. I love you. It's so easy. You know, we get resentful because life doesn't show up the way that we want it to show up. We get angry. And, you know, for many of us, especially those of us who are abstinent from food or drugs or alcohol or stress or, you know, sex or, you know, abstinent from gambling or, you know, we're trying to live a different life and not be so codependent, not be so dependent upon these things, you know, like our cell phones and things of that nature, right? Like, you know, sometimes we get angry, but we're told we're not supposed to get angry. We're not supposed to get resentful. I mean, you know, I can quote things from Bibles and big books and, you know, 12-step and all kinds of things that would suggest that anger is the dubious luxury of people who are not addicted or people who don't have weapons of mass distractions in their lives. But the truth is that anger, resentments is part of our emotional state. And that it is a natural thing that comes up. And sometimes, when we get angry or upset at an injustice, it actually moves us to make change in our lives. And so, I simply want to say that, yeah, anger and resentments, they're two separate things, oh, by the way, right? But they're usually lumped together. And when we do that, we get to generalize. What I want to share with you is that, when I'm angry, underneath that anger is some pain and some unacceptance. And really, when I'm angry, or maybe when you get angry, what I'm reminding myself lately is that I am saying, when I get angry, somebody cuts me off on the freeway, right? Like real close, not just like, but somebody cuts me off, or, seems to be driving recklessly, or in my opinion, right? What I'm actually saying is that life is not what I think it should be in that moment. That life is not what I think it should be in that moment. That it should be different. Like, that shouldn't happen. Nobody should cut me off, or nobody should take advantage, or nobody, like, that's what I'm saying, is that the way life has presented itself, reality is not what I think it should be. And so when I see my anger as that, I begin to recognize that I have these thoughts, these ideas, right, Michelle, right? I have these expectations. And sometimes those expectations are unspoken. I don't even speak them. I don't even tell anybody. And yet this is what I'm expecting. I'm expecting that it should be this way. And I'm shoulding all over myself and shoulding all over other people. Sunny and I, every time we say should, we go, no. Because it's unrealistic. And I got sober, and I was promised that I would be able to deal with life on life's terms. And when I get angry, I am not accepting the reality as it is in that moment. And the question becomes, hey, Lisa, expectations premeditated to resentment. Absolutely. And so when I'm looking at life, and when I remind myself that when I'm angry, I'm not accepting the reality of what is in that moment. And it's okay for me not to accept the reality of that moment. But what I do with that anger, what do I do with that body sensation, that body feeling, and the thought? That's when I can do the 3 S's. And remember, the 3 S's were to slow down, be still, be silent. And actually, just like my new thing is, it's like I practice the 3 S's so I don't become one, but I'm an S. And so I know I crack myself up. Forgive me. When I don't slow down and still, and I'm silent to examine, what do I think life should be right now? How do I deal with this that is before me? Practices like we just did in the beginning, just taking some deep breaths, being fully present, doing a gratitude list out loud. I like to call these a cascade, and I just imagine like a waterfall cascading, and that cascade of gratitude. I don't think I could ever really run out of that to be grateful for. And then the way I think about that cascade as well is, imagine I didn't have today what I wasn't grateful for yesterday. Like, I wouldn't have half of the stuff around me, right? And so this attitude of gratitude really helps to get my mindset a little more stable. And when someone cuts me off, when someone doesn't do something that I think they should be doing, in that moment, I get to pause. I get to think about, I must be fearful. I must be fearful that I'm not going to get something that I want, that something that I have is being taken away from me, and then I play that situation resentments, right? Playing that situation over and over again in my mind. I wish I coulda, shoulda, this, if I'd have only did this, then this wouldn't have happened, and da-da-da-da, and just spending a lot of time in that in that mindset. Hey, Dina, how are you today? You know, when we spend a lot of time in that, then we're not really spending time in being present. So I also get an opportunity to look at what is it about what I expect that's unrealistic, or that's selfish and self-centered and self-seeking. I might be justified. It might be some human atrocity that I'm pissed at, or some human rights that get taken away or given to folks or whatever. You know, like I might have that kind of anger. And so, yeah, from that anger, what it can do, thank you, Dina, what it can do, I can allow the anger to actually have me reach for a spiritual solution that changes my life for the better. That is a good use of anger. That our anger drives us to a spiritual practice, like the gratitude, like sitting in the silence, like meditation, like recognizing that my life is the life of God. That I and that you are the unique, beautiful, unforgettable, magnificent, powerful way that God is showing up in human form. Like that's the truth of who we are. But when I forget that, right? Again, sign language for forget, like my mind is being wiped out. Hey, Nancy, welcome. You know, when I forget that that's my truth, that infinite intelligence that's breathing me, that's beating my heart, that God, that power, that source is right where I am. And that, you know, when I am in alignment with that I cannot lose. I cannot lose when I'm in alignment with that. When I recognize that my life is one with all life, then I could recognize that I am in some pain. That pain comes from some misperception, me thinking that life should be that life should be some way that it isn't currently, and that I get to simply adjust to it. And even in adjusting to, here's what I have now, how do I want to be with this? What do I want to do with this? And then from there, moving into a spiritual practice, moving into knowing, or as a result of my spiritual practice, that automatically kicks in, and that I know that everything is actually coming together for my highest good. And so I can actually utilize the pain of anger, because underneath that anger, there is some pain, to review what it is that I have been believing, because those thoughts over and over again become a belief, and that belief is acting like a law in my life. And then I can begin to excavate and eliminate those ideas, those thoughts, those beliefs that are antiquated, aka I've been stuck in ideas and beliefs and behaviors that no longer serve me. And when I begin to actually look at that and go, no wonder I'm angry. There's some cognitive dissonance here. There's a disconnect here. I'm still believing some old stuff that now I get to uproot, right? Get rid of and replace it with a new thought. The new thought is that God and I are a majority. That the peace of God I am, that the love of God I am, that the abundance of God I am, that the wholeness of God I am, that the safety and security of God I am, that is my spiritual truth. And when I align myself with that spiritual truth and live from that spiritual truth easily and effortlessly, my sobriety, my recovery, my abstinence, my way of living without these weapons of mass distraction, they simply fall by the wayside, and I begin to live and experience my full, beautiful, magnificent life in the human form. I'm not saying that there's not going to be sadness, but even that sadness turns into joy because I recognize the capacity of love in my life. All that God is, I am. I am all that God is. That is correct, Bertha. And if all we ever do is say that and remind ourselves of that, Bertha, hey, Barry, can you post that right there? Thank you. All that God is, I am. I am all that God is. If we can remind ourselves of that simple truth, beloveds, on a regular basis, a few times a day, when we sit before our meals, when we sit, all that God is, I am. God and I are one. There's nothing that can separate me from the love of God, right? This indwelling power and presence, when I align myself with that and then walk and talk from that, everything turns out for my highest good, even when I don't think it is. So, beloveds, that's one way of being with our anger, of releasing resentments and letting that stuff go because it no longer serves us. So I just want to let you know that next Monday is Memorial Day here in the US, and there will not be a show on Monday, but I will be back on June the 6th, right? Monday, June the 6th, with another episode of A Spiritual Remedy. I want you to know that you are loved and appreciated, and that as a spiritual coach, spiritual living coach, I am here to support your transformation. If you find yourself stuck or need an accountability partner or simply want to learn some tools, please give me a call. Please reach out to me. I want to be in touch with you. Starting in the fall, we are going to have some meditation groups, especially for those in recovery. Some meditation groups, some circles, some support circles. All of these things are coming up under Vida Spiritual Learning Center. That's going to be in Long Beach, California. And it also will be using some virtual technology as well via Zoom and some video conferencing. So don't let time and space deter you from connecting with me. If you find that you're stuck in belief and behaviors that no longer serve you, it's time for a breakthrough. It's time to unlock. It's time to really enjoy your recovery, your sobriety. It's time to enjoy your abstinence. It's time to enjoy your life, right? Get unhooked, and I'm here to support you. Until June 6th, know that you're loved. Mwah. Have a good one. Bye for now.